OpenAI just released its new image model, and everyone says it will kill NanoBanana Pro. But today I'm not doing another specification breakdown clip. In this video I will stress test both models side by side with 8 complex prompts across sales, marketing and design. So you will pick the winner, and then I will tell you which one I recommend you use. Let's start. So for the first prompt, we're telling both models act as a senior conversion rate optimization specialist. You have to do 2 things. 1, simulate an eye tracking Heatmaps, so predict where the attention of the user will likely fall. And then identify and remark 3 layout and general improvements that could increase conversion rate based on a framework which is a very popular framework for this type of activity. And then provide an image with the heat map analysis. Let's see how they both perform. And here is our first result. We have OpenAI on the left side and Gemini on the right side. We see that they adopt a different approach. OpenAI is a more descriptive approach. It has a very quick and simple heat map, but then it has also an explanation of the heat map, which is, I have to say, very well done. The only remark I would make is that there are still some very small spelling mistake and some weird tags, which in Gemini it doesn't happen anymore. It was characteristic of previous model, but I haven't seen it in any of the output of the new model. Apart from that, it's a very nice analysis. It also has the friction analysis section below with improvements that are actually very actual. There was a spelling mistake in my landing page, which I corrected, and then he suggested some remarks to improve the quality of my landing page. Regarding Gemini, it has adopted a more direct to the point approach, which I also appreciate. It has a visual heat map, and then it has classified 3 recommendations for improving my conversion. Move social proof above the fold, increase perceived likelihood of an achievement. And then let's read another one. Improvement number 1, sharpen value proposition, focus on dream outcome, not just features, which is a very nice recommendation. All in all, they're both good results. I would say the analysis in terms of the quality and the reason that is behind, in this case, it would be in favor of OpenAI. We will provide both models with an image of a shelf in a supermarket, and we'll tell them analyze this photo of a retail shelf display and perform SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. What product stands out the most and why? Which areas of the shelf looks cluttered, dark or unappealing? Where is the negative space or empty stock that could be used for better signage? And then the competitor brands visually overpowering the target brand. For example, in this case, the blue packaging. Attach response also in a visual analysis with red marks on the analyzed photo. So we're telling them the format of the output which we want. Let's see how they perform. Here are the outputs for both models. We see OpenAI has performed the task, but remember we required specifically a visual analysis with the red mark on top of it. In this case, there is the red mark, but there is no note. We don't know which of the square means what. OpenAI prefer to do the analysis in written text, assessing strength, weaknesses, and opportunities correctly. The analysis is actually really well done, though we specifically asked for a visual analysis, which we didn't get back from the model. On the other side, Gemini performed the task perfectly. It assessed all of the areas which we requested, identified strengths like good lighting and strong color block and positioning, in this area weakness, clutter and less appealing for this specific brand, right? So it did the analysis exactly as requested and put all of the notes, all of the red mark directly on the picture, which is what we were expecting from this specific image model. Even though both performed a good analysis and perform a task which is actually really useful for a professional in this sector, I would say Gemini followed the instruction better. Take this hand-drawn sketch, let's make it a bit bigger so you can actually appreciate it, of a website homepage and convert it into a high-fidelity photorealistic UI mockup. The theme, we're giving the theme dark mode, we're giving the details, where I drew a box with an X, place a high-quality stock photo of a person working, where I scribbled lines, put realistic lorem ipsum text. We see here there are a few X's here and through scribbled lines. And then output a clean modern interface. So we're trying to turn this simple sketch into an actual mockup. Let's see who performs the task better. We can see that both models perform the task really well. I would say Gemini has respected our boundaries and our structure a bit better. Also this time it has only exclusively substituted the person working where I drawn an X and it has substituted text wherever I scribbled the lines. We see that AI did the same, but it was also more creative where we didn't give any specific instruction. It basically brought in one level further without me specifically asking, which can be appreciated or not. In this case, I prefer models that really respect all of the indication which I give, so I would still prefer NanoBanana. Analyze this advertisement screenshot provided here above, taken directly from Instagram, deconstructed into the following components: target audience persona, visual hook, and value proposition. And then what we're asking the model to do is to generate a better, more modern version of this image for my product. And I mentioned directly the product, which is a lamp product which I want by this brand Astro Claro, and generate an image of it. Keep the same format as the provided image, keep the lamp shape exactly as you find it on the internet. In this case, I feel there's not even a challenge. Gemini performed a much better job. He understood the task and completed it to perfection. It has researched on Google the shape of the lamp which I was looking for, and then he has respected my request of making a more modern version of this image for this specific product. While on the other side, OpenAI in this case didn't research the lamp I specifically requested, didn't really adapt the ad, and even left this weird ugly border which was part of my screenshot. Gemini understood it was to be removed, to be recreated with the new vibe. In this case, I would say Gemini definitely wins. This one is slightly simpler but really good to make a comparison. We're giving a picture of a sneaker taken in my room, and we're telling isolate the sneaker in this photo, remove the messy backgrounds, and then place the sneaker on a wet asphalt street in Tokyo at night. We're telling how we want the lighting, neon red and blue lights, and then we want the perspective, ground level, camera angle. In this case, both output that really strong result. The quality is optimal in both. The texture of the shoes is kept in both, and even the dirt marks on the shoes are kept. I would say the only difference is here in the OpenAI section, the hand which was part of my original picture was kept, which I didn't specify I wanted to remove, but Gemini understood I wanted a product picture, right? So this is the only difference. In both cases we have a really high quality result, but I would still opt for Gemini because it has followed my instruction better and understood better what I actually meant. Design a photorealistic 3D rendering of a 20 by 20 feet ratio booth for a software company called Relay App. We're telling the style clean, elegant, minimalistic, the color palette white, soft gray, light wood, and then we're telling which section we want in each area. So we want, for example, 2 demo stations, we want a meeting table area and the size of the area which we want a lounge area, and we're also mentioning the material which we want: matte white surfaces, light natural wood countertops, frosted glass accents, and then we also want the lighting and the perspective plus environment. A final remark which we're making: in the final image, show overlay text with item and dimension explained. So we want a picture of the booth and also want some sketch on the image explaining what area is what and how big it is. So this was probably one of the most complex prompts we're given so far. It had a lot of distraction and a lot of details. We see that ChatGPT did a really good job. It has followed instruction to perfection. There are 2 demo stations, meeting area table, a lounge area, the logo of Relay App with the central tower, and all of the details are also included in the overlay text, which actually looks really good. And the lighting and the vibe is truly respected. I think it did a really fantastic job. We see that on the other side, Gemini also performed a good job. I like a bit more here the overlay text, though it's much less detailed. It doesn't have all the dimension in contrast with ChatGPT. It also has 2 meeting table area while we requested only 1, and multiple demo station. And my feeling is here it's a bit less realistic and a bit less actual in terms of dimensions. I would say all in all, OpenAI performed better here. Design a minimalist logo for a premium coffee brand called Velvet Bean. Symbol, an abstract fox made of coffee steam. Application: immediately applied this logo on a 3D photorealistic mockup of a matte black coffee bag, and lighting, golden hour sunlight hitting the bag to show the matte texture of the packaging. Logo should look gold foiled embossed on the back. So it's a very detailed prompt. Let's see how they perform. One more time, both models did a really good job. I have the feeling that the sunlight hitting the coffee bean bag has a better feeling, a better texture here in the Gemini picture, but I would definitely call this a draw. analyze the facial expression and body language of the people in these 3 uploaded pictures using Obsessive Smile, which is this product for the teeth which I found on Instagram. Detect the emotion, rate the genuine joy or satisfaction level on a scale from 1 to 10 for each subject, identify distinctive environment where the product is being used, and based on these visuals, suggest a new tagline that captures the actual vibe of the user. In this case, we're not requesting an image, we are asking the model to understand emotions, which is a really complex task. Let's see how they do it. The response of OpenAI, we see that subject 1 has facial expression and body language read, and then it has a grade for the genuine joy and satisfaction. In this case, we see that the first subject has an 8 out of 10, which I have to agree with, it seems authentic to me. And subject 2 has a genuine joy and satisfaction of 7 out of 10. And one more time, I do agree with this. This strikes me as less authentic. And the last subject has a 9 out of 10, which, again, it resonates with me. It seems very authentic in this picture. Cross-image pattern recognition, it seems like the users aren't acting polished, they're pleasantly surprised. The emotion is less luxury beauty and more confidence boost. And then it has some recommendation for a marketing tagline, real smiles, real room, real results, as well as other option, which seems pretty strong to me. Very similarly, also Gemini performed the same analysis, came up with the same exact grades. Subject 1 8 out of 10, subject 2 7 out of 10, subject 3 9 out of 10, and then has made the same remarks and slightly different recommendation. Obsessive, which is the name of the brand, Your Daily Glow Up, Unfiltered, but both uncovered the same type of emotion and both did a really good job in understanding the authenticity of the emotion, which perfectly matched with what I personally believed. I would definitely call this a draw. I would say both models performed really well. If we have to compare them directly, NanoBanana Pro has performed better in a larger amount of cases, though the most complex case was performed better by OpenAI new image model. I'm gonna keep testing both. If I had to pick a single one for now, I would still stick to NanoBanana Pro, which is also very good iteration and modification of your initial result, though I'd recommend you keep both on the radar and you keep following my channel for more use cases about both.